Last time, I talked about when The Office jumped from good to great, which occurred during the Chili's meeting in season 2. That's when Michael Scott stopped being just a goofball and became something deeper, a genuinely great salesman. That moment answered the unspoken question: why is this man regional manager at all? From there, the show coasted at great for a while, consistently memorable, infinitely quotable, moments of brilliance, but it wasn't quite legendary. Not yet. At least for me, the true leap to legend status didn't come until the end of season 5, when Michael quit Dunder Mifflin and started his own paper company. It was a leap of faith, a jaw-dropping moment that could have easily been screwed up if the people behind the scenes weren't up to task. But not only were they capable, they pulled off one of the greatest multi-episode arcs I've ever seen in a TV show. So that's what this video is about. The full arc of Michael Scott Paper Company, where the show not only evolved, it risked everything.
I don't understand that after 15 years of service here, I have to get in the car and drive to New York in order to talk to you.
The cold open gives us one last look at the dynamics that will soon be broken in this episode. Jim and Pam pranking Dwight, Michael loving Jim and buying into every word he says.
And of course, classy.
And classy, yeah. Michael, you're just agreeing with him because he's wearing a tux.
Then Idris Elba walks through the door.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm Charles Minor, here to see Michael Scott.
This is the first time a seemingly normal office worker comes into Michael's office and sees the insane work environment. Only this one has authority to change that. This episode does a great job at setting up the stakes and organically showing Michael's annoyance with Charles and Dunder Mifflin, turning to rethinking his life choices for the past 15 years. It is so uncanny to see a comedy show pull this off so well. Charles comes to be the new manager overseeing the Scranton branch, taking over what used to be Jan and Ryan's spot. Two people who were by all means not good managers, but they allowed the Scranton branch, and by extension, Michael Scott, to thrive.
It's gonna be metal!
Charles is by all means a good manager. He's by the books and is looking to turn a profit. He walks in and girls are instantly smitten.
I am aware of the effect I have on women.
Jim introduces himself to Charles in his tux, which Michael thought looked great.
You look dynamite. What are you talking about? Very slick. Okay.
But Charles does not feel the same.
Why are you wearing a tuxedo?
This is the beginning of Charles' dislike towards Jim. Charles talks about layoffs and freezing on discretionary spending to the office, something Michael should have talked about, but he didn't want to lower morale. Michael doesn't like this sharing of power, and this is where we can see his discomfort, and he instantly tries to urge Charles out the door.
Charles Minor, ladies and gentlemen, he has a long trip home. Thank him for coming in. We have to get back to work.
Michael, I'm going to stay for the day.
But Charles isn't going anywhere today. Michael calls the boss, David, and voices his disdain towards Charles.
David, it was my understanding that I was not going to be managed.
What gave you that idea?
It was my understanding.
Later, when Michael is trying to know him better, he finds out that he doesn't come from a background of paper companies and takes it as a breach of security, like Charles is a spy or something, and asks,
Does David know this?
Another moment is when Charles buys lunch for the entire office.
Whoa.
That is so unnecessary.
Are you kidding me with this? On the day that I bring in breakfast.
But the final straw is when Charles cancels Michael's 15th anniversary party. He blows up.
Do you even know how paper is made? It's not like steel. You don't put it into a furnace.
And travels to New York to see David.
How did you get here, Michael?
I drove.
Michael here actually voices some very valid concerns. It's honestly a very mature stance Michael is taking. He feels little and his time unappreciated. After all he's done for this company, all he asks for is a little fucking gratitude. And David is listening, but he's not understanding him. You see, this isn't about the party, David. This is about the blatant disrespect Michael is facing with Charles and now with you.
And I will personally see to it that you have your party, you have your figs.
So Michael does what everyone wants to do to a job that doesn't respect them.
I quit.
What?
It's a power move we haven't seen from Michael yet. Taking his life into his own hands. It's admirable, it's daring. But now what?
Michael's like a movie on a plane. It's not great, but it's something to watch. And then when it's over, you're like, how much time is left on this flight?
The cold open begins with Michael Scott telling his quitting story. Everyone wants to hear it. Oscar explains it perfectly, which kind of encapsulates the audience too.
I love a good quitting story. Gives me hope. Maybe I'll have one of my own someday.
For the duration of the episode, we are stuck with Michael during his 2-week notice, and it is quite the trip.
Surprisingly, there is a very big difference between Michael trying and Michael not trying.
That's pretty much the summary of this episode, but I really appreciate the time they are taking with this arc. This whole sequence doesn't feel rushed. We are forced to sit in discomfort and desperation with Michael Scott as he fumbles around in limbo trying to figure out what to do next. He finds out that not many jobs are hiring.
Yeah, well, this is one of the few places that's hiring. It's brutal out there.
The only company he decides to call is the one he put out of business a while back. He decides the most logical move is to create his own paper company. It is everything he knows. Why not, right? He tells his right-hand man, Jim, Psst. And Jim gives him a reality check. But Charles walks in before Michael gets the point. Pam is getting a bit fed up with the office. She has been tasked with setting up the new printer, and everyone is very impatient with her. Michael comes by Pam's desk, and they talk about his new endeavor. Pam has questions, but Michael reassures her that he knows what he's doing.
Before you got here, I'm the one who landed all of these clients. Half of them, at least. I can do it again.
And you can see it ever so slightly, Pam kind of starts believing in him. Michael asks around the office about who wants to join. First Andy.
Well, it's a very intriguing concept, isn't it?
Then Dwight, on accident. He doesn't really want him. Then Oscar, who asks really good questions.
Do you have a business plan? A funding request? Market research, financials?
Then Stanley, who's just trying to urinate, but no one's biting.
I had a great time at prom, and no one said yes to that either.
Charles gets word that Michael is starting his paper company and gets kicked out without a speech.
I would just like to...
No. You're done, Michael.
But Michael Scott always has to end with the speech. He comes back on some espionage shit and gets caught. But before he does, he has a chance for one last hurrah. Not many people are listening. To them, it's just another Michael Scott speech, except for Pam.
Are you doing your best here? Are you being the best that you can be?
She isn't just listening. She understands what he's doing. And while future episodes give her plenty to doubt, in this moment...
Oh no.
What?
Right here.
I'm going with him.
She a little naively follows behind him because she believes in him. Maybe it was an impulsive move.
Michael, wait!
But it was a move layered in absence and disdain for her job.
I'm coming with you.
She knows she is capable of much more. And that was her leap of faith.
I mean, I've always subscribed to the idea that if you really want to impress your boss, you go in there and you do mediocre work, half-heartedly.
The cold open starts with Kevin manning the phones now that Pam is gone because Charles doesn't know the people of the office too well.
Today's my first day at my new job at Michael Scott Paper Company, Incorporated.
Michael answers the door to Pam in a robe because, hey, he's the boss now.
Oh, good. My hooker's here.
He set up the condo to resemble a real workspace and starts working on breakfast. Charles is running a meeting for the rest of the branch and gets mad at Stanley for doing crossword puzzles. Something that he did all the time while under management of Michael Scott. Then Jim tells Dwight to stop fucking mouth breathing and Charles gets mad at Jim.
No, the new boss does not find Jim adorable. Oh.
Charles not really understanding Jim and rather putting his trust into Dwight is a complete 180 from what Michael does, and it is entertaining as hell with very satisfying payoffs later on. We are back at Michael's place and he is in paralysis about actually starting the business. He creates a tower of French toast to delay any actual work, and it soon all boils over.
Give me mine. Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't do this.
Pam decides to take charge when she realizes he needs it right now.
But when one person freaks out, sometimes it weirdly makes the other one calmer.
She guides Michael through what they need to do to start the day.
Assemble a sales team. A dream team.
The first person he thinks of is Ryan, which Pam is very much against. Obviously, Ryan is a douchebag, but he has potential, and Michael sees that. Plus, it's not like he has many options besides
Vikram, best salesman I've ever met.
Andy is a kiss-ass and is trying to win over Charles. Jim despises this, but it is working. The Michael Scott Paper Company gets their first bit of mail.
Dear Mr. Scott, please be advised that it is in violation of your condominium agreement to conduct a business headquartered in your residence.
To calm Michael down, Pam suggests song parodies.
Okay, achy breaky fart.
The whole office is starting to kiss ass.
I prefer Maradona, Diego Maradona.
Charles asks Jim if he wants to kiss ass too, so Jim tries it out.
That's because I'm more of a player.
Yeah?
Dwight sees an opportunity.
I had no idea you played soccer.
They soon set up a match right after office hours.
See you on the field, there, bro.
See you on the field.
I can't wait.
Michael and Pam get Vikram on the dream team.
We got Vikram!
You got me.
However, Michael has to stop the car to let the bowling demons loose and coincidentally sees Ryan. Pam doesn't approve, but the company needs all the help it can get.
Everyone deserves a second chance.
Ryan steals bowling shoes and they hit the road. Jim and Charles are getting along in the break room, but Jim is anxious as hell for the soccer match.
Go!
I can't wait to play.
Oh, it's gonna be the worst.
Michael has lined up an investment with his Nana, which, at least he's trying, right? Nana doesn't have a lot of money to pay out, but she takes this very seriously. And once she starts asking real questions...
Expect to turn a profit in this economy.
By wanting it more? By working hard?
What's your mission statement?
She breaks Michael and can tell he doesn't even believe in himself.
This isn't a handout club, it's an investment club.
He is giving cookie-cutter answers, not Michael Scott answers. Not somebody who is hungry for success. Not somebody who's been beaten down by the only world he has been in for 15 years and is finally taking a risk on himself for once. Michael plays the family card.
I really think that Papa would want you to do this.
Trying to buy her in with sympathy and blood ties, but Nana isn't buying this shit. She's been around the block before.
I'm not so sure. Well,
Michael is willing to say and do anything to get her to buy
it doesn't
in.
have to be paper. We could sell medicine.
But that's just the problem.
This is what concerns me.
He doesn't believe in his own paper company, so why should she?
No. I mean it, no.
They leave with their heads down. Everyone is contemplating on the sticky situation they are in, and it gets to Vikram.
I thought Nana raised some good questions.
He asks to get out at the telemarketing place, and without even a goodbye, Michael shuts the door. He doesn't need a lecture. He already got one with Nana. He knows what he needs to do, and if you want to get out, the soccer game with Charles and Jim is going swimmingly.
Oh my God!
And Jim gets blamed for it.
Yeah, what? Jim, why would an experienced soccer player like yourself duck at the very last moment?
Okay, I'm just gonna go get some ice.
We get back to the condo and Pam is scared, just like how Michael was in the beginning. She heard Nana, she heard Vikram, and now she's on the fence. But it's Michael.
I do my best work when people don't believe in me.
When Pam needed comfort the most,
I'm going to make some calls. I'm going to get us an office space, and I'm going to show you why you joined this company, all right?
Michael showed up.
I stepped in. I took charge.
It's good to stay calm when the others are freaking out. Michael makes some calls and gets them an office space, right below the Scranton branch.
You know what they say? Keep your friends close.
Charles encounters the two, and Michael declares war.
If I were you, Charles Minor, I would watch your step, because the Michael Scott Paper Company is about to open a big old can of whoop ass on Dunder Mifflin.
It's Brittany, bitch.
The cold open for this episode is one of my favorites of the show.
Not gonna make this one.
We are shown the grand reopening of the Michael Scott Paper Company and then introduced to the new receptionist, Kelly. She later becomes a staple in the office, which made this a great and organic move. Michael is being a real boss. He has a networking event set up. Andy and Dwight's dynamic has blossomed into a very real friendship, but then soon again become rivals to love.
I need a rundown of your clients. Can you get that to me?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Jim goes through that moment where someone asks you to do something and you say yes, even though you have no idea what you said yes to.
What the hell is a rundown?
But you don't want to seem incompetent. The angst and cramped space at the Michael Scott Paper Company reaches a boiling point when Michael asks Ryan to make that copy, but Ryan isn't doing any work. Pam is over Ryan, and Michael is the boss, so he definitely doesn't make copies.
I make originals.
Michael decides they all need a corner in the office, a way to take a break from one another. Pam apparently picked the short straw and got the worst corner.
Pam, I don't make the rules.
She becomes desperate enough to ask for her job back, but the position is already filled. Michael gets a visit from Stanley and Phyllis, and Stanley tells him that Pam is upstairs. Michael begins doubting again.
Maybe the Michael Scott Paper Company was a huge mistake.
They are at the networking event. Michael knows Pam is lying about where she was, but doesn't want to call her out on it.
Well, at least you're still being honest with me.
He knows, and Pam knows, and Pam is being guilt-tripped through no fault but her own. Jim has the rundown complete, but Charles doesn't even want to look at it or care to give Jim any bit of validation. Andy and Dwight are playing Country Roads in the break room and trying to outperform one another to impress the girl.
But the bromance is too strong.
Take me home, country road. Take it in there.
The Michael Scott Paper Company gets a call.
Well, we'd like to do business with you too.
It's from a customer.
How can I make that happen?
And potentially Pam's first order. It becomes a great coaching moment between Pam and Michael.
Yes!
I made a sale!
You did!
It's finally starting to come together. And Michael's monologue is pretty sweet.
This day definitely had its ups and downs. But we have people with the biggest hearts. And I think for a small company, that is really what's important.
Master and apprentice, pitted against one another for the fate of the greater Scranton area paper market.
The Michael Scott Paper Company is finally gaining traction. The chemistry is building, and the cheese puffs are an indicator of that. Charles is making Dwight wear sleeves, but it's restricting him from protecting himself.
Straight jacket!
Okay.
Obviously, Dwight is seeing the benefits with Michael back at Boss, and just like a toxic relationship, he goes right back to Michael once the new thing isn't the way he wanted. He becomes an inside man for Michael. The team is so locked in now, they have their own chants and everything.
U-G-L-Y, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. Ho, ho, you ugly.
Charles is giving Dwight more responsibility.
It's firm.
Dwight now has a conflict of interest. He can't be a double agent anymore.
Things are changing here, Michael. They're changing fast.
I'm not following you.
It takes Michael a little while to understand what Dwight is talking about.
Then there's this new guy.
Very cool, very Will Smith-esque.
But soon he gets the point.
Dwight, are you talking about us?
It is possible.
Andy becomes the new guy that Jim pranks throughout this episode, which is how we get the infamous through the curtains shot.
I think Jim is messing with you.
Oh, really?
Michael meets Dwight and Charles.
Right, set up!
No, Michael.
Dwight!
Michael, no.
This is their first meeting where it's a bit hostile between the two companies. Charles tries to get him to back off, but Michael is standing on business.
Michael, I want you to stop pestering my salesman, and I want you to leave Dunder Mifflin alone. Do you understand?
I understand nothing.
He goes back to report what happened to the team.
We can't help you if you don't just tell us what happened.
I got hit in the face with a pea-filled water balloon.
Michael was very upset about this.
I am going to come at you, and I'm going to come at you hard.
After that is when we get to see Michael become a salesman again.
Look at that old dude and his Rolodex go.
Michael goes after Dwight's biggest client, which puts Dwight in war mode. He goes to arrange a truce and buy the whole team dinner.
Good.
But he gets into traffic and hits a bear on accident. The gang gets back to find out they were sabotaged by Dwight.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your lunch?
Dwight, not now. We've been robbed.
It was a nice move by Dwight. Little does he know that the master is called that for a reason.
Oh, one more thing. I'm going to have you listen while I steal your biggest client.
Oh, no.
Dwight races over to the client's office
Hello, Dwight.
Spin move!
and barges in on Michael's meeting.
Ha-ha! April 13th, 2002.
He talks about how last time he tried to switch paper companies, he was left high and dry. And in brilliant Michael fashion,
April 13th, 2002. That is the last day that you evaluated your paper needs.
Dwight stole Michael's card he uses for backgrounds on his clients,
Tell me, how's your gay son?
but color codes them to know what to
Excuse
say
me?
and what not to say.
Most colors mean don't say
Michael
it.
wanted to start a company, not a war, but the people of the office forced his hand.
Because in a war, you always fight those you are closest to. These are our demands. This is what we want. Our balls are in your court.
This is the finale of the Michael Scott Paper Company arc, and it is without a doubt the greatest episode of The Office.
I am just a 44-year-old guy with a paper route.
The gang is grinding away at the butt crack of dawn. They got business, baby, and everyone's locked in. But is this sustainable? Not really, but they don't know this yet.
We have lost 10 major clients to Michael Scott.
Charles tells the office that Michael Scott is taking business from Dunder Mifflin, and suddenly Michael is making a real dent. David comes to the office and we find out that Charles is a kiss ass. Michael and the company get a reality check.
Whatever. Yeah, so.
At these prices, the more paper you sell, the less money you'll make.
They're going to go out of business if their costs stay too low. Now Michael has to call his customers for more money, which is obviously not going to work.
You don't blame the child. He didn't know any better. You blame the 30-year-old woman who got in the passenger seat and said, "Drive, kid. I trust you."
Pam spills the beans to Jim, and Jim is so reassuring it's honestly heartwarming.
Out of business?
We have maybe a month. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh yeah, well don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. We'll be okay.
That's what Michael said.
Oh yeah, only this time we will be okay.
To be honest, this whole arc, Jim has really shined. And so has Pam. I wasn't a big fan of her before. I shipped Karen and Jim more, but Pam is genuinely hilarious throughout this arc. The gang sit and sulk about the new reality they are facing. Pam cannot get hired anywhere else. Ryan has never went to Thailand. Michael loves pad thai.
I love pad thai.
You never had pad thai?
No. There's a lot I haven't done.
Now, in the meeting, no one knows that Michael's company is heading for bankruptcy soon except for Jim.
The cheapest option is to make Michael an offer.
And since Jim has personal ties to the Michael Scott Paper Company...
Jim, you're pretty close with them. You think they'd be up for hearing an offer?
He gets to be a little double agent.
David Wallace has asked me to come down here and see if you would be interested in Dunder Mifflin buying you out.
And this whole interaction is really stellar.
Yep.
Okay, so the Michael Scott Paper Company has a chance to get bought out. Now all they have to do is not say that they're broke.
Oh, I'm really worried I'm gonna say it.
They reach the office and the battle of the two companies start.
Well, well, well. How the turntables.
And right here is the reason why I made this video. This is the moment The Office goes from great to legendary. I gave this episode 5 episodes of context because it deserves it. This is the culmination of everything we've been through with Michael. The disrespect of corporate, the desperation, the fear of it not working out, the cramped office space, the 5 a.m. grind, the setbacks, the sacrifices. Everything makes this moment worth it.
We are prepared to make you a very generous offer.
And we are prepared to reject that offer.
This moment is the Chili Scene 2.0. How Jan thought Michael was screwing up the deal, Pam and Ryan think the same thing once Michael says that. They are already scared he's going to tell David they are broke, and they offer Michael $12,000 and it's insultingly low. David's response to that is,
What's the situation? Your company is 4 weeks old. I know this business. I know what suppliers are charging. I know you can't be making very much money.
So he doesn't know they are broke, but he knows what Michael is doing is unsustainable. And this eases Michael up to say one of the coldest things ever said on television.
I'll see your situation and I'll raise you a situation. Your company is losing clients left and right. You have a stockholder meeting coming up and you are going to have to explain to them why your most profitable branch is bleeding. So they may be looking for a little change in the CFO. So I don't think I need to wait out Dunder Mifflin. I think I just have to wait out you.
Like, I don't know what salesman demon Michael has in him, but fuck does it work. You see David smile through the pain and he knows he's going to have to offer a lot more.
How's about $60,000?
They're speechless. Michael and the gang feel the relief of victory now. Dwight gets a phone call that Michael is broke, and he is somebody who would actually snitch. Jim overhears this and does what he is best known for, messing with Dwight. Only this time it's necessary.
No, I mean great detective work. This must be the first case you've ever cracked, right?
You crack a case.
What are your top 5 cases?
I'm gonna answer Charles first.
Because you've solved 0 cases.
Okay, 1 case of the Beat Bandit.
They get back into the meeting ready to settle a deal.
No.
Suddenly Michael screwed it up again, until they hear him out.
But we need money coming in every week. We need jobs.
Yeah, that's pretty valid, and such an incredible way in getting The Office back to the status quo. Michael begins listing his demands: his old job, Pam as a salesperson, Ryan back at Dunder Mifflin. David begins questioning this because this is worth a lot more than $60,000. This is a multi-million-dollar buyout.
Your company cannot be worth that much.
Our company is worth nothing.
But this is Michael Scott's moment.
If tomorrow my company goes under, I will just start another paper company, and then another, and another, and another. I have no shortage of company names.
Remember, all he has to do is wait out David, and he plays on that fear David has of losing his job so well he has no choice but to say,
okay, deal. Okay?
Can we have the room, please?
Celebrate good times, come on. You cannot tell me The Office gets better than this. The part where he just kicks out Charles I thought was a little mean.
Hey guys.
No, you're done.
Except Charles did it to him a couple episodes back. Payback, baby.
I just know that I am flying high, and I don't even want to think about it.
If the series had ended here, I'd be satisfied. To me, The Office never got better than this, and I've always been a big believer in leaving on a high note, letting people want more rather than sticking around until they don't. Obviously, that didn't happen, but still, what they made here was legendary. This arc was for the people grinding through jobs they hate, fantasizing about quitting, but staying because life doesn't give them a choice. This was payback for them, a middle finger to the corporate machine we're all forced to bow to. But more than anything, this video was for my mom. Like Michael, she gave her life to a company, 2 decades, and when her 20th anniversary came, they forgot. She's been heartbroken by that job more times than I can count, and watching Michael Scott stick it to the people who took him for granted, it's cathartic as hell. So Mom, this is for you, so you never forget. They need you more than you need them. For Michael Scott, this is the peak of his summit. And this arc, this risky, rebellious, hilariously human arc is why The Office isn't just a sitcom. It's a legendary comedy show, and in its best moments, it was genuinely heartwarming.